For this short assignment, you will be exploring the world of documentaries and, very importantly, the concept of bias in documentaries. So, first things first, find a documentary that's interesting to you. You can find a documentary on any topic and make sure that it comes from some resource that's free, YouTube, or any streaming device that you like. I went to Google, typed in documentary. I found this to be interesting, and so I clicked on this. And when I click on this, I can now go to the website. Now at the website, the first thing I'm going to do is copy this URL. I'm going to go over to I created a project, and you know how to do that. And I titled it the same title as the documentary. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to paste that URL right in here. I'm going to click the citation. It's going to bring up some boxes for me to fill in. I need to come up with the creators' names and put those in here. I need to capitalize this title. I'm going to make this website title a little bit shorter. The reader knows that the reader can find this entire documentary here by following the URL. I just need to fill in the creators, and then as soon as I've done that, I click complete the citation. I've done that, and here is that citation. These are the creators, the Winans, and then we have the remainder of that citation. The next thing I need, and I'm going to do this before I watch the documentary, is I go over to Google and I type in bias in documentary films so I can learn what bias is. You'll see many articles about bias. Pick one and study that. These are short articles. I'm going to do this one, documentary bias, since that's what I want to learn. As soon as I open up this article that's going to explain to me what bias is, I copy this. I go over to EasyBib. I click create a citation. I paste this in here, search, finds it. And this one time it has everything on there. So I don't need to add anything except, let's go ahead and punctuate this title correctly. So we have this ready to go, the truth. And then we simply click complete the citation right down here. And now we have the citation all done. Let's just take this. This is a duplicate, so we delete this duplicate. Now, that's all I need for this project is just these two. Now it's time for me to go back over here and watch the documentary. And as I watch the documentary, I'm going to keep in mind what I learned about bias, and I'm going to see if I can understand and comprehend the bias of the documentary. Now, your documentary needs to be about 30 minutes long. This one's longer, it doesn't matter, just so long as you've got a documentary that has some substance to it. So a 5-minute documentary is not going to be enough for us. We need about 30 minutes. Okay. Now, coming over to my assignment, the step-by-step instructions. We've already done the first, find a short documentary, done that, created the EasyBib project, searched the internet, found out about bias, created a citation for that. Now we have watched our documentary, and now we're going to click Begin Submission box. Let me show you where that is. When I open that assignment Submit Here page, I see right here the blue box that says Start Assignment. I click that, and then you will see a text box appear. And in this text box, I'm going to create my assignment, which is a 7-sentence paragraph. Remember, the 7 sentences are very specific, so you cannot use AI to write this paragraph for you. It will be painfully obvious because the instructions are specific. Let's go to those instructions and see what we need to do. I'm going to go over this and then I'll show you how to do all of it. Scroll down to the text box, did that, click the format, click font, select Times New Roman 12 font, add name, course date, word count to upper left corner, find an image of the subject matter of the documentary that explains what the documentary is without words. Do not select an image that has a title or words. You do not need to create a citation for the image, okay? Got that? Below your name and course information, we're going to center a title. Under the title, copy and paste that image that we found. Below the image, return to the margin and write a 7-sentence formal paragraph that includes these sentences. One sentence that explains the documentary with the title punctuated correctly. A sentence that explains what the documentary is about. 2 sentences that explain the bias of the film. Remember, that's the important part. And 1 sentence that explains whether you agree or disagree with the bias. And then 1 sentence that ends with 1 quote that you found particularly interesting in the film. So let's look at that assignment together that I created. Remember, our video was Childhood 2.0. So the first thing I had done is gone in here to Format, Fonts, and selected Times New Roman. Make sure that that's at 12 point. Then I have my name, course date information. I see the word count right here. I gave it a title, not title, this is my assignment, or title, but some title that means something. This is the picture that I chose because this shows children using technology, and that's what this particular video is about. So the reader knows what the information is before they even have to read a word. Now, remember, I indented the first words, and I followed that sentence by sentence structure. Remember, I punctuated the title correctly. And then when you can pause this video and you can look at the entire paragraph. This is a quote from the web page that states what the purpose of the documentary is. But I don't use those words as my own. I make sure I use quotation marks, and then after the end of the quote, I add a parenthesis, the title of that film in the parenthesis, and the period goes on the outside. See how that all looks like a neat, tidy little package. And then I go on and use the other sentences that were required, and I end with a quote from the film itself. Now, what's this number? Well, let's go see. So that number is the timestamp number that I found when I chose this quote from the actual film itself. So to document that and to show where the reader could go and find that, I've added that as this timestamp, and then remember the period goes on the outside. And that's it. That's the entire assignment, other than we need to go over and get the work cited. Let's go do that together. And you notice that as I was doing this, sometimes the sentences would be single spaced. So that's the tricky part of text boxes. They're very convenient, but they can also be a little bit of a pain when it comes to double spacing. So when that happens, I simply put the cursor there, click that, and it makes it double spaced. Now that caused this to go klaflooey. So I do that. I go over here, click enter, and add a space. Same process. You need to add a space there. Go here, add the line, bring that up here, go over here, add the line. You see what I'm doing. And then this, back, add a space, and add the line. Now, as I read back over this, I can see it's all double spaced. Now, let's go get that work cited together. We have our 2 citations, and we're ready to complete this. So we're going to click Export All, and then we have a choice to make. We can either do this in Word or in Google Docs, whichever you prefer. I'm going to go ahead and do it in Word right now, and I'm going to click Export. And then it's going to open right up here. Do you see where it's opening? So I'm going to open that. And you can see that it's all formatted in a Word document. I'm going to enable editing. And I'm going to make sure that everything is correct on here. And remember, see how it's double spaced? It might get messed up a little bit when we paste it into that text document. So let's do copy, Now let's go back over to our little document. I'm going to do this in real time with you. We finished the paragraph 2 spaces down. And what I'm going to do right now is just click paste and see what it does. So that's what it did. It's a mess, isn't it? First of all, it's not in Times New Roman. Somehow the formatting got messed up when it transferred over. So I have to go over here to fonts. It's still at 12 point. That's good. This needs to be centered. Then there's just 2 spaces under that, not 4. And let's go back to the document and see what it's supposed to look like. So this is supposed to be here, and then the second line would be indented. So let's go back to the text box and make sure that it's correct. Okay, so this does not account for okay, everything's there, and it has it on one line. If it did not have it on one line, then it might be under here, and we would make sure that it was indented. Do you see that? If this one needs to go to a second line, we would make sure that it's indented and that everything is double spaced. You see that? I know you do. You're brilliant. So that's it. That's all there is to this assignment. Then I click down here and I click Submit Assignment, and that's it.